A few days to go until Pope Benedict's four-day visit to the UK. Thousands of tickets for some of his open-air masses are yet to be taken up. Administrative problems have been blamed for the slow distribution of tickets, with parish priests being urged to issue them directly to schools.
Well, Austen Ivereigh is from the media group Catholic Voices and joins us now from our central London studios. Are you surprised by that?
Well, I'm surprised that there is talk of the tickets not being taken up, because everything I'm hearing is that people very much want those tickets. The problem is one of allocation. So what happened is that the tickets were given to each diocese, which then in turn distributed them to the parishes, which in turn had to organise the distribution to people who wanted to go. And along the way there have been various hiccups, and sometimes demand and supply have not matched. But my understanding is that those events will be full.
Given how complicated you just made it sound, is it a little too late in the day to suggest, as we did there in the introduction, that parish priests are being urged to issue them directly now to schools, almost to change the way that the tickets are being distributed? Well,
you know, you're talking here about the church across the country, where things are going to be very different from diocese to diocese. But I mean, certainly here in central London, my own diocese of Westminster, I know that the tickets have been allocated. For example, Hyde Park, where there are going to be 90,000 people. In my parish, we have 125 going. I know there are many people who wanted to go that couldn't. We have another 30 or 40 going to Birmingham by coach. So, I mean, you know, as far as I can tell, as I say, anecdotally, the demand is being taken up. What I think lies behind some of these stories is the fact that the church has actually not had very long to organise this distribution, because the process of deciding which the events would be and where they would be held wasn't decided really until quite late on in the day. It wasn't finally agreed. Remember that this is a state visit by the Pope, which has a strong pastoral element. So the Foreign Office and the Catholic Church have been working together, have had to work together on everything in this to organise. And of course, very considerable security constraints. The police, for example, demand to know who's in each coach. They need everybody vouched for, so people have to arrive in coaches, which means leaving often very early in the morning, and so on. So these logistical challenges have been very great. And of course, in the middle of all the organisation of the visit, we had a general election campaign and a change of government. But as I understand, things are now very much being sorted.
Just as a final thought, just give us a sense of the enthusiasm for this trip, because I suppose with all of the negative stories that have surrounded the Pope, sexual abuse, of course, all of that, perhaps there is a feeling that it may not be as enthusiastically supported as perhaps other visits with John Paul II. But I think the Australia visit with Pope Benedict perhaps belied those fears, didn't it?
I was going to say, not just Australia, but America, Malta, Portugal recently, all the trips that this Pope has been on, there has been a wave, usually 2 or 3 weeks before the visit, of negativity, or of endless stories of unpopularity, unfavourable comparisons with the previous Pope. And then you know what happens? The Pope arrives, the crowds are full, people flock to see him, and he makes an enormous impact on them. And the whole nature of the coverage and the commentary changes as soon as he's here. And you're already seeing that in these days, where I'm noticing that a lot of commentators in newspapers are really quite disgusted by a lot of the really quite vicious hatred being projected onto the church and onto the Pope. And they're embarrassed by it, and they're saying, look, you know, let's listen. So I think the mood is already changing, and I think when he arrives on Thursday, I think the mood is going to be very upbeat, and I think the British people are going to be listening to him.
OK, Austen Ivereigh, thanks for your time. Thank you.